Okay, in this final section, I still want to illustrate that we have a few issues with this, and you might be like, what's happening? Well, take a look at this. So let's go back here, and if I make this small and I check this nav, okay, so kind of the behavior you would want to add to this is when we click this, we would select About, and it would go to the About section. But the problem with the CSS input is that this has to be unchecked for the animation to happen, right? And if we click on this anchor tag, well, nothing is going to happen because this is always going to stay active because it's checked. So, so it gets kind of difficult to make this work. And as you can see, if I go down here, well, the anchor tags still don't work. So let's fix those up. Let me just quickly go here. So when we click on the, let's see, the About section, all right, we can go to the About. So About here and add an ID of About, like this. And then when we have the work, we can go all the way to not the contact, but this. So the About section and add an ID of About there as well. And then finally to the footer, actually the contact, we can add an ID of contact too. All right, so we want to basically make that jump possible, contact. Okay, so when we click here and we click on this, boom, it jumps down there. But this kind of disappears, right? So that's not good. So what we're actually gonna do is just clean this whole code up and just implement some JavaScript, because it's gonna make it so simpler, and it's just gonna fix up these small little issues that CSS has. Okay, so I know I didn't teach JavaScript here, but I highly recommend you to follow along, or if you don't want, you can just copy paste it in your code. So what we're gonna do first of all is let me kind of clean this up. So let me go to CSS. I actually added something here. I'm gonna remove because I also want to show you something very fun. So the first thing we're gonna do is scroll here down in CSS. So follow with me, let's explore our CSS, and let's go all the way down here. Okay, so the first thing is, well, we're not gonna be needing this input, this menu check input. Where are you, Mr. Menu Check? So this one, this menu check. So we can actually just completely get rid of it. Okay, and all we need is this burger. Okay, so this is still good, but the menu check is useless now. So let's remove that. So in here, in the CSS, we can also get rid of it. So menu check, peace, boy. Okay, there we go. Now, obviously the nav links, these are still okay. We can leave these. We don't have any issues with them. That's completely fine. Let's go down here, and here again, we're not using the input, so we kind of have to modify this again. So this one, rather than doing menu check, checked plus nav links, this bullcrap, we're gonna get rid of everything, and I'm just gonna create a class for this. Okay, I'm gonna say nav open. So when the nav is open, I wanna translate this back. So what we're gonna do in JavaScript is when we click on the burger, we're gonna add a nav open on the nav links. So on this, okay? So everything we're gonna do dynamically. So this is kind of the fun thing with JavaScript is I can just make this class super simple like this, and when I click on something, I can add a class to another element if I want, okay? Here, again, we're gonna simplify everything, and I'm just gonna create, again, a toggle class, okay? Just a toggle. And next up, what I'm gonna do is actually in my CSS and my HTML, I apologize, I'm gonna name these spans. So I'm gonna give a class of line 1, and I'm gonna copy paste this over here. Line 1, this is gonna be line 2, and line 3. Hit save. And now in here, basically what I wanna do is add different kind of properties when I add this toggle. So on the line 1, I want something different to happen. On line 2, I want something different to happen. So basically what I want to do is add a class of toggle, and on the line 2, I want to just add a background of white, or remove the opacity. Let's remove the opacity on this. Let's say opacity is going to be 0. Okay? And then on line 1, I can just say toggle line 1. Here, what I want to do is do that transform. Actually, we can copy paste it from here. So, oh, we actually had it down here, my apologies. So let me just copy everything from here, paste it in here. All right, so that's what I want happen to line 1. So we can remove everything here, and we can add that background color change here. So when we change the burger to white. Okay, and then same thing with line 3. So I can say toggle line 3, and I can copy everything from here and paste it in here and just add the background color as well. And now I can remove everything. So basically, let me kind of explain what's happening here and what are we doing. What we're gonna do in JavaScript is we're gonna select these spans and we're just gonna add a class of toggle to them. And now depending on what line we are adding to it, that's why we kind of stack them together here. I just add a class of toggle to all these spans, so all the lines, and basically all these different lines are gonna get a different class. So this one is gonna get this one, line 2 is gonna get opacity 0, and line 3 is gonna get this one. Okay, so basically it's gonna be affected all differently. And that's why we stacked up 2 classes here. Okay, so that's kind of all the changes that we need to do. So now we can create a JavaScript file. So this is gonna be very simple. All you have to do to add a JavaScript file is go all the way down here, scroll all the way down, and right above the body, we're gonna write a script. Click on this, and then here, we're gonna add an attribute of source. Okay, and now we can create a JavaScript file. So I'm gonna name this app.js, okay, like this. And here, I'm gonna link it, so I'm gonna add the /app.js. And the reason why we are linking our JavaScript down here and not in the header up here, not in the head up here, is because we're gonna do some selections in JavaScript. I'm gonna select maybe the nav or the nav links. And the reason we add it down here is because I want this to be already read, okay? I want this to be available to me, because if I would add it to the head up here, I might try to do a selection and it might not get it because the JavaScript file is up here and it tries to read something that is down here. Okay, so this is kind of a good practice to always add your JavaScript file down here. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into this, so let's kind of get this going. So what we want to do here is basically create these kind of boxes. I want to get those elements that I want to manipulate or animate with. So maybe I want to get the navigation, so I can write const, and this is basically a variable. I'm going to say nav and set this equal to document.querySelector. And with this query selector, if I add a parentheses, I can just basically select my class. So I can say add a quote dot nav links. All right, so I'm basically getting the nav links of the screen. I'm going to add a semicolon at the end. And let's go down here. I'm going to grab the burger. So I'm going to say burger, and I'm going to do the same thing, document.querySelector. And here we're going to get the dot burger. All right, so this is basically how we select everything in JavaScript, and basically all the element is going to be living in here. So I can do something with the nav now. I can mess around with it. And lastly, what I want to do is grab the A tags. So let's grab the links. Const links equals we can also do nav.querySelector, my apologies. And I can also do query selector all here. So I can just grab all the A tags from the nav. So let's read this again really quickly. We grab the nav here, and then the links we grab from the nav. So I can kind of grab this one, add it here, and say .querySelector and get the A tags. All right, and make sure here it's all, because I want to get all of those A tags. Okay, so we select everything up here, and then what I can do is say burger.addEventListener, add a set of parentheses. I'm going to add some quotes, and I'm going to say click. So this means that, hey, whenever you click on the burger, do something. So I'm going to add a comma, and basically what I'm going to do, this is going to look a bit weird. I'm going to add another set of parentheses, an equal sign, and an arrow like this. And I'm going to do curly braces again. So this is a bit tricky. But let's keep going. So basically what I want to do is, hey, whenever we click on this burger, execute whatever code that I write in here. So basically what I want to do is say nav.classList.toggle, and I'm going to add parentheses, some quotes, and I'm going to say nav open, like this. Hit save. So if we read this, it's not actually that complicated. Whenever we click on the burger, add a class list of nav open to the nav, right? But we also added this toggle. So let's kind of take a look what's happening here. So when I click on this, as you can see, it opens. And when I hit again, it closes. All right, so this is toggle. I can also add, but this is only gonna add it. And if I click again, nothing's gonna happen. So if I go back here, if I go toggle, it's basically gonna take on the class and take off the class every time I click on it. Okay, so what's the next thing I wanna do? Well, I also wanna animate this burger. So I can say burger dot class list dot toggle, and let's see how we name this. I believe toggle. Let's take a look. So this is where we added these toggles, right? And I said, hey, when we add toggle to the line 1, I want to animate it this way. When I add toggle to the line 2, I want to animate it this way. And same goes for the last one. So we just add a toggle to all of them. Hit save. Let's take a look now, and look at that. We have that nice animation going. So we are back and we are good. The problem is still when we click on this, this is not closing up. So we can kind of do the same thing with the links. I can grab all the links here and I can add a dot for each, and I can add parentheses. And basically I can say for each link, I can add that arrow symbol again and then curly braces. And basically what I want to say for each link, so if the link add event listener gets clicked, so click like this again, comma again, and another arrow symbol with parentheses and curly braces. And basically what we want to say, hey, for each of these links, here we have access to each individual link. So add an event listener. So whichever link that we click on in here, I still want to do the nav.classList.toggle nav open. So it basically closes up. So let's hit save. And let's take a look. So now if I click on this, this still closes up, which is super nice. Okay, but this turns white, so we can also add the burger to change its color back to black. Hit save and let's take a look. Click, go here, contact, and there we go. Take a look at that. So everything works properly now. About, let's go to the work. I don't think we added the work section. Let's see what we did here. I think we added about. Okay, so let's go to the work, change this to about, and this is about as well. Actually, this was about. Okay, let's, okay, so about is this section. That's good. All right, and then let's do maybe the work is gonna be the image gallery. So work is gonna be gallery. And this is going to be gallery as well. Okay, hit save. And let's take a look now. 1. Okay, what am I messing up here? Oh, goodness. Okay, we need an ID on this gallery. Gallery. Save. Please. Oh, God bless. Okay, there we go. So everything works perfectly now. Okay, so now this is fully functional. We don't have any issues with this. We can close it, we can open it up, we can click on it, and everything is going to behave the way we expect it. So just a bit of JavaScript here, literally 15 lines of code, but it's going to fix all of the issues that we would have with CSS, and we don't have to add those weird things here like inputs. We can just literally grab the elements that we want, and we can add classes to them and modify them the way we want. Okay, I believe I did forget to add a cursor pointer to this because we removed the input. So let's kind of search the burger up here, and we can do a cursor pointer. So let's go back and see. Okay, so now it's a cursor pointer, so it looks clickable. That's perfect. Okay, lastly, let's see. I want to show you a cool trick if you want. Maybe when we click on this gallery, I don't want this to jump down so quickly. Maybe I want a nice transition. So what we can do is scroll all the way back up here, And this is a cool trick. It's not supported by all the browsers, but I wouldn't worry about it because if it's not supported, the behavior is just going to be the standard one, which if you click, it's just automatically going to jump down there. So I'm going to go on the HTML here. I'm going to say behavior, and I'm going to say smooth. Actually, it's scroll behavior. So let me write scroll behavior like this and write smooth. So when I hit save, if we take a look now and I hit this gallery, look at that. It's smoothly going to scroll down there. So that's pretty cool. And it's going to work on these as well. So get that nice small little effect. Hey, there we go. That's cool. Okay, so there we go. We finally finished it. Added a bit of JavaScript. We kind of saw how that works as well. And now our site is very nice and fully functional. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next project, which we're going to cover SaaS and all of those good stuff. So see you there.